Hey y'all, I'm back. It's the afternoon. I'm starting dinner for Bob and I'm making one of his favorite dishes. I'm making my meatloaf. And I've put, I think it was about a pound, a little bit more than a pound. So you can use anywhere from a pound to 2 pounds for this recipe. So I've got the ground chuck in here. So now I'm just going to dump everything in, and I'll probably wind up using my hands because those are the best mixing tools ever. I did take my rings off. I've washed my hands. They're nice and clean. So I will be mixing it all up with my hands, getting it in the pans, and then of course I'll have to clean my hands up again after that. But anyhow, just wanted you to see what all I'm going to be putting in here. I've got a half of a bell pepper that I've chopped up, just dumping that down in there. And I've got about a half of a normal size onion that I chopped up, and it's going in there. I've got 1 egg that I cracked in a separate dish. You know, I told you always crack them in a separate dish. I'm putting that in there. Just move all that stuff around. And now I've got a small can of tomato paste, which I'm going to put in there. Let me find my little thing to get it out of the can with. Have to have a fairly small spatula thing to get it out of this can. I love meatloaf, and you know what I really love is the next day when you make a meatloaf sandwich. That is good stuff. Yes, yes indeed. You know, Cracker Barrel used to sell meatloaf sandwiches. I don't know if they still do, but theirs was pretty good. I remember going on a road trip with a girlfriend one time. We stopped at Cracker Barrel on the way down to Florida to have a meatloaf sandwich, and we stopped at Cracker Barrel on the way back home to get a meatloaf sandwich. So now I'm putting in a half a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to put in a half a teaspoon of garlic powder and a half a teaspoon of black pepper. And I've got right at 2/3 of a cup of breadcrumbs that I'm putting in here now. And then just add a little more flavor. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. And that's it. Once I get it in the pan, then I'll be topping it off with ketchup. Yes, I love ketchup on top of my meatloaf. Some people would say that's not really cool, that you should use tomato sauce or something, but not me. I like that ketchup. After it's cooked on top of the meatloaf, it's just what makes the meatloaf good. I always like the end piece if I'm going to eat it out somewhere, because that's probably where the most ketchup is. But anyhow, you can see this is actually kind of fun to do, y'all. Squishing this all through your fingers. It's really kind of fun. It's like, reminds me of when you're a kid and making mud pies, you know? But anyhow, you can see how it's really mixing in there really well. You've got the meat, the bell peppers, the onions just showing in there really good. So, yeah, the pans that I'm going to put in is not your normal loaf pan, because my husband really likes the edges part of the meatloaf, just like he really likes that part of biscuits as well. So he always likes the more crispy edges. So let me show you. This hand is clean, by the way. These are like little iron pots. They're small, sort of like a large ramekin. And so I'm going to put meatloaf in 2 of those, but then there'll still be enough meatloaf left that I'm going to put it in a smaller loaf pan. So anyhow, just wanted to show you that. So I think I can probably divide this in about thirds, maybe a little bit like that. And we'll see how that does. So now I'm just going to shape it up a little bit and put it right down in that ramekin. And then I'll take this one, it's a little bit larger. And put it down in this one. Fit in there nicely. And now this should go fine in here. I'm just going to kind of squeeze it down in here. Get everything out of the bowl. And then I'll shape it up in the pan. I'm going to mash it down in there and try to get it level. I think you can see what I'm doing. And then I just kind of go around it like this with my hand. Just kind of poking my hand down on the sides just to make it have a little bit of an edge there. Do that all the way around. Helps it stand up more in the center. They do that around these too, just to make sure. Actually, I think I can do it with this. Might do better. I just don't want it touching right up against the sides of the pan. It just keeps it from sticking bad. Now this works much better. Get it down in there further than the hands. Alright, so you can see how that looks in there now. It's kind of got like a little moat around it. Same thing with these. You can see around them. All right, so I'm going to go wash my hands and I'll come back and put the ketchup on. Hold on a second. Okay, now we're ready to do some ketchup smearing. Move this bowl out of the way. I'm just going to spread that around a little bit with this spoon. Take a little bit more of this one. Kind of like it a little bit thick on the top because it does cook and it'll go down. It's going to smell wonderful when I get it in the oven too. So I'm going to put these on a tray to put them in the oven. That way they'll be easier to get in and out. So let me grab my tray. one on here. And here. Just fit on there just perfect. All right, so those are gonna go right in the oven. I've got the oven on 350 and it's ready. So I'm gonna stick these right in there so they can start cooking. And that's gonna cook about 45 minutes to an hour. I'll check it at 45 minutes and see how it's looking. If it looks like it needs some more, I'll give it all the way to an hour. So now I'm gonna start working on maybe some potatoes, have some mashed potatoes with that. I think it'd be really good. It's gonna make my man very happy tonight. All right, y'all have a good evening. Okay, y'all, I took them out of the oven at about 1 hour mark, and you can see how cute they are. They're very well done, and we will be serving them. They're sitting here now, just soaking up the juices that were in there. I've also prepared some mashed potatoes, which are down in there, and I'm heating up some English peas. And to top it all off, look at this great surprise I have over here for Bob. Look at that. Biscuits in the oven, and they are rising beautifully. So anyhow, we're gonna have a great dinner, and this is really like his early Valentine's dinner because I'm not cooking tomorrow. Sorry, bye.